Podcast, episode number 236, presented by our friends over at MANSCAPED. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code CouchGuy20 at manscaped.com for 20% off with free shipping, which you guys have done amazing at because Manscaped has loved us and we've loved working with them. So keep it going. Anytime you guys need any men's hygiene stuff. And also, I'm sure women can use some of it too. Right? I'm assuming some women can use it too. So,
hey, you know, women have places to shave too. Women have hygiene kit places to take care of.
Buy for your boyfriends, buy for your husbands, buy for whoever, any male in your life. Manscaped.com, promo code CouchGuy20 for 20% off with free shipping. Also go to shockedenergy.com. Use promo code CGSN for 10% off your purchase there. Okay. So I want to talk about this first, get this out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You have some thoughts on the Celtics, and I have some thoughts on the Celtics.
That's because you're over them. You're like so over this team.
I can't tell you. I'm over this team
because
it's the same thing every year,
mm-hmm.
and they're not getting better. Like the story with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and I've said it 1,000 times on the show. Jaylen Brown is my favorite player on the Celtics. This injury is starting to scare me because it doesn't seem like it's getting better. It seems like It could be a lingering thing. But overall, just with this team for the past however many years now, we've talked about, okay, well, as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown get better, this team's going to get better. They're going to be real contenders in the East. It's just not happening. No matter who you put in to the equation, it's not happening. And what are they right now in the standings?
Oh God. I haven't looked. I don't even know. Hold on, I can tell you. Hold on.
They're inconsistent. So we record this Tuesday, December 14th. They lost to they beat the Bucks last night. But like people are excited about that. But the overall sentiment, which is kind of what it's what I'm saying.
They are the 9th seed right now.
Not good. They're so inconsistent. And I genuinely don't think they have like a real true leader on this team.
No. And
I think they have good players. I just don't think they have leaders.
I still think there's time. But with this team, the problem is, you're right. There's no leader. Al Horford doesn't have a voice. He has a voice, but only with certain players.
No Kevin Garnett leader.
No,
gonna drive the competitiveness.
The thing is like I know you didn't watch it. Last night's Bucks game is like what this team should be, right? They moved the ball. Jaylen and Jason took over almost the entire game, and they're moving the ball. Guys were hitting open shots. Some of the young guys were playing, like Romeo Langford, and doing well. It was overall kind of probably the best game they've played all year, and it's what they should be when you look at what's on this team. But you look at who's your best player, Jason Tatum. This team goes as he goes, and he's just not a leader. I think he's proven that. And they even saw it today. Last night, they asked Ime Udoka about like players and them all that, and like the Tatum mentality and all this stuff. And he basically said, yeah, I had to sit him down and have the conversation that players on the other side are not your brothers. They're not your friends. You have to not want to buddy them every single time and look up to them. Like if he really said it to him, like someone finally sat Tatum down, this is Ime, and said, you need to stop just idolizing everybody in the league and just go play basketball and want to win. Because that's all Tatum does. He looks around the league like it's the LeBron, it was Kobe, right? RIP. Like it was all those guys. He looks up to all these guys. Kyrie, right? All these big brothers, he calls them. Playing for USA basketball. Kevin Durant, another one. He looks at them as friends, and when they play each other in the league, he dabs them up, he hugs them, win or lose, doesn't care, and it's all about family. And it's like, okay, but dude, you're a face of the Celtics franchise. You need to not like them.
He's the face.
He's the best player. He's the best place. He's the face of this team. This team will not win a championship if Tatum does not have a leadership asset next to him. I saw someone say something about him being like Paul Pierce, right, earlier on, when he could score like the best of them, enjoys basketball, but at the end of the day, just lacks something when it comes to leadership and being the guy. Now, I think Paul Pierce could have been the guy. They had some runs here, and Tatum will. I think moving forward, Tatum will have runs with Jaylen Brown. And they already had a couple, right? They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I think to win a championship, they need someone a la Kevin Garnett. Obviously not. Doesn't need to be a Hall of Famer. Just needs to be someone that can be a leader to take control of this locker room that Tatum doesn't know how to do it.
They need a leader who's going to be tough. they need a guy like Kevin Garnett, because right now, like when I look at this team, and I get bitter because I look back to like the 2015 team or whatever around there, and they were so competitive, and like they weren't the most talented team in the NBA by far, but they would constantly be there in the postseason, and they would give people fits. And it comes down to like Isaiah Thomas, who like Isaiah Thomas wanted nothing but to win. You had Avery Bradley, you had Jay Crowder. These guys were even Al Horford was an asshole.
Kelly Olynyk, man, he was an asset then. Like he wanted to win at all costs. Kelly Olynyk.
Right, so much so that he pulled Kevin Love's arm.
Yeah, broke Kevin Love's arm. Good for you, Kelly. Good job.
I'm just kidding. You didn't do that on purpose. But like this team just doesn't have that grit, and you're not going to win in this league, especially if you're not the most talented team without that grit, and they just don't have that. I've seen people say this. I'm sorry. I've seen people say this. Like Chris Paul would be perfect for this team.
I mean, you know who would have it was. You know what team was perfect was this is before we realized how much of a nut job Kyrie was. But like Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, and Al Horford being the guys on that roster on paper, with Tatum and Brown being the young guys who don't need to be the guys. That team, pre-injury, when Danny Ainge put that team together, that team should have won a championship or two. Like on paper, that team should have worked.
But that's the same thing. Like who's the competitive guy there?
Man,
who's the guy who's gonna like scream in your face? Marcus Morris, I guess, was there at the time.
Yeah, say Marcus Morris was still here. I mean, Marcus Smart, yes, he's still gonna do that. Like, I think Marcus Smart has that ability to be that leader, but nobody takes him seriously. Like, it feels like nobody on this roster takes Marcus Smart seriously. Like, I feel
like it has to be somebody who's one of your best players.
Well, see, yeah, and he's not. Yeah,
it's got to be like if Jason Tatum had that drive, then I feel like this team would be totally different.
There's a few people in this league that can do what you need. And there's talks like the Pacers are talking about blowing it up. So like maybe you tried, and like Sabonis is out there, so you could try to get Sabonis, and that's a good young piece, and they can play with Tatum. And look, this team's good. Like they're still gonna win more games than they lose by the end of it. Like, and I think Jaylen Brown being out has hurt them, right? Like Jaylen Brown not playing consistently, it's a big deal.
I have a bad feeling this is going to linger for the rest of the year for him.
Yeah, I just don't think this year is going to be on paper pretty, because I don't think he's going to play a ton of games. Isaiah Thomas is playing for the G League in Denver, the Denver Nuggets G League. They signed him. Man, what I hope he shows something, and maybe he comes here. Like, I don't know why everyone here has been so reluctant to bring him back, but I think he's kind of what you need. He sparked when he got traded here, right, from the Suns for like absolutely nothing. He brought a spark back to this town in basketball, and the team followed, right? He wasn't the best player in the gym most nights, but on the Celtics roster, he was pretty close to the best player, and he showed it, and he led your team, and he just got out there and balled. I feel like, wouldn't Isaiah Thomas help this team right now? Like, wouldn't I?
Yeah,
like,
but that's not even like it's not going to win you a championship. It's not going to get you close.
It's gonna get you closer.
You think? We don't even know what he is anymore.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to be what he was. He just needs to be a leader. Like, I'm not asking for Kevin Durant here. I'm not even asking for what IT was when he was the fourth quarter king of the fourth, right? Like, I'm just asking for him to come play decent minutes and like get in Tatum's face.
I think you need like a star, or like a semi star who is competitive, has that edge, and I think that will drive Jason Tatum. I don't think a guy who's going to be coming off the bench with an attitude is going to drive Jason Tatum.
Okay, then who do you want?
I don't know. I don't. That's why I'm out. That's why I've not been in love with this team this year, because I just don't. I don't see it with them.
A move is coming, 100%.
Is it? Dude? This is the Boston Celtics.
But it's not Danny Ainge's Boston Celtics.
Okay, but we haven't seen a trade deadline with Brad Stevens yet. I hope.
Yeah, so don't give him crap for something he hasn't done yet. Like, he had a really good offseason, Brad Stevens did, for what he had to work with, right? Like, and now there are talks about Dennis Schroeder being flipped. Great. Flip Dennis Schroeder and flip Marcus Smart and get me a real player in here to play with Tatum and Brown.
Yeah, but what are those guys going to get you?
Marcus Smart and Dennis Schroeder, plus some young players and a pick or two. Like,
you're gonna have to sweeten it, because those are.
Yeah, but for a contender, but Marcus Smart, something you can build around.
I guess. I don't know. I just don't think that's going to be enough. I unfortunately think if you're going to get a needle moving player, I really do think Time Lord's got to be involved. I really think that
they're not going to touch Time Lord. You know that.
Right, which is why I don't think a big move is going to happen.
They're not going to touch him, and I wouldn't either. He's one of the better big men in the league, to be honest with you.
I like him. I like him a lot. But
yeah,
we've done this. We've done the show what now?
I mean, unless you're
years?
getting me like Karl Anthony Towns here, like then maybe.
Right.
Sure.
We've had the same conversation every year for the past 4 years.
They're one player away.
Yeah, they're a player away. They've never been a player away. I think we know that now.
Well, they were when they traded for Kyrie. Kyrie was a space case.
Yeah, and by the way, like Bleacher Report posting, just talk about tone deaf. I genuinely think that a lot of fans of the NBA are just tired of Kyrie and just tired of talking about him. Like, I don't think people care about him as much anymore.
Nope.
And like Bleacher Report posts that video of Kyrie putting on his shoes, like, oh, Kyrie's putting on his shoes, the eyeballs emoji. Like, nobody cares.
It's funny.
Maybe Nets fans care, but
the
like
Nets are
everybody's
talking about
so
like letting him play like on road games now, because they know they need him. And James Harden has an opt out after this year. Think he stays? I don't know. Kevin Durant might just be by himself next year, like looking around, like what happened.
He should have known after the way Kyrie acted with like the Celtics.
That's what you get,
telling
man.
us he was going to stay. Yeah, this is on brand. This makes sense.
This is why Kevin Durant should have just played for the Knicks.
Yeah. All right. Did you have a Bruins question before we get into football?
I mean, it's Tuukka Rask related, because why is it not?
Let's talk Tuukka.
Because this is the big thing. I get why people are throwing a frenzy on Twitter. And again, low-key casual hockey guy here, not a big hockey person. But I look at Twitter and everyone's like, oh, Tuukka's skating. Tuukka's practicing. Great. I've watched a little bit of this team. Do we really think Tuukka Rask is going to be the savior for why this team is losing games?
I think he'll be a difference maker. I think this right here, if Tuukka comes back, which I think he is going to come back.
He's coming back. Okay, let's stop real quick.
He's coming back with the team.
He's skating with the team. He's been skating with the team. Everyone's like, oh, well, he has an open door if he wants to come back. He said over and over again, guys, I only want to play for the Bruins, but I want to play. Great. So he was coming back because he's better than both their options you have now.
No, I mean, there's definitely things that have to be improved around the roster in general. Like, some of it's been underwhelming. I'm not going to say who specifically, but some parts of this roster that I was excited about have been very underwhelming. But I think Swayman's been fine. I think,
you know what's going to happen though? They're going to bump Swayman out for Tuukka, because Linus signed his contract.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because Swayman is better. But
I don't think he is. I think right now, if you brought Tuukka Rask back and you platooned him, you think Swayman's better than
Linus, not Tuukka. Okay. Like, I think Swayman should be your backup goalie if Tuukka comes back.
Yeah, no, that contract, I didn't love it when they did it. I understood it because they didn't really know what they had with Tuukka if he was gonna come back. So like, you kind of have to make that move. But like, I take Tuukka Rask over him any day. A lot of people realize now, in open former Tuukka Rask hater, he used to drive me crazy, but I love Tuukka now, and he's shown that he is one of the top goalies in the league. Yep. And we've seen what it looks like when he's not there.
Yeah, I think this is what's opening my eyes to it. It's like,
I mean, just look at Halak in the bubble. 2 years ago, Halak had a very good season when he was goalie number 2 behind Tuukka. He had a really good season, but then it was his job to be the goalie in the playoffs because Tuukka left the bubble. And we saw how much better Tuukka Rask is than Halak.
Yeah. Tuukka's a great goalie. But my point is, I'm not saying I don't want Tuukka back here. Like, I've been very dominant about how much I don't trust Tuukka Rask to win a big game. But I'd welcome back over what you got.
Right. And
my point is people are like, oh, well, Tuukka Rask is the savior. Tuukka Rask is going to win you, make you that playoff contender. He's not the savior. Like, can we all just stop? I know we're super excited about Tuukka's coming back, but it's not going to help for an aging Patrice Bergeron. It's not going to help Brad Marchand, who got suspended again. And it's not going to help Taylor Hall. Looks like he only wants to be here some nights. Like this team has no presence.
I wasn't gonna say a name, but perhaps that last name is the very underwhelming piece of this roster.
Taylor Hall is very underwhelming.
But so here's my thing with that though. I think you're also seeing that you miss David Krejci,
who's not coming back.
Potentially.
Not coming back.
You gotta
guys, Nick, Larry Bird ain't walking through that door. Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish ain't walking through that door.
You gotta have hope, but no, there's a lot of issues with this roster. Tuukka Rask does not solve everything.
Nope.
The poor guy's gonna have shot after shot. And I think another problem is kind of like with the Celtics. I don't think they have an aggressor. Like Patrice Bergeron is getting smacked around. Mm-hmm. And you saw what Chara's been doing with the Islanders.
Yeah, so you know who you miss.
Yeah. Chara,
the big guy.
Chara's already, I think Chara got to a fight 2 nights in a row, which like, when does that happen?
You know what's
one night the piss out of people.
One thing I hope happens, and I know it won't, is the Islanders just keep losing. And then maybe the Bruins can go bring their captain back.
Yeah, I mean would the Islanders lose 11 in a row at one point?
It's bad. It was bad. And I don't even watch hockey. I know how much they lost.
No, they need to figure something out.
They need to get the band back together. Bring Tuukka back, bring Zdeno Chara back, get David Krejci to come home from God knows wherever he is, and just stop with this. Like, this team is not as good as people hope they are. Like, as constituted, even with Tuukka Rask, they're not a cup contender.
I am terrified that the window closed because we had a championship window, and I'm worried that it's closed.
It closed. I think it closed when they lost to the Blues. I think that Game 7 and that Stanley Cup final was their best chance to get that last cup as a group, because the chips even fell right that year. Remember, you didn't have to play Washington. You didn't have to play the Lightning because they got bounced early that year. Like, the chips fell so right that year that you could just tell, okay, this team's going to win, and this is the team they should win. And you felt like, okay, everything's aligning for them to get one more cup together because they've gotten screwed out of a couple. It's done. Like,
so you know what? I want to talk. I just want to mention this real quick because I know me and you were different when it comes to this. You don't trust Tuukka Rask in big games. Like, my whole counter argument to that is he was the only reason you got to that cup final. Remember the games? Remember how close they were?
Yeah, but he let some softies in that Game 7, though. It was
in Game 7, yeah, but he also had a lot of other big games leading all the way up to Game 7.
He did. But that was also how many years ago now? Like, after surgery, how many years later? He's not coming in and being the same guy.
Yeah, like, do you think
he's like? No, you're right. He's not. I don't. Okay. And again, this is not me saying I don't want Tuukka back because he's better than the options you have. But like, I just don't want people. I keep reading from these Bruins fans and people who just love Tuukka, and it's oh well, he's gonna be the savior. Like, he's coming back and is gonna you're all gonna be fixed. No, Taylor Hall needs to actually want to play hockey.
Twitter has a lot of opinions that make me want to blow my brains out.
It makes me want to puke. I'm still watching. Apparently, the Colts think that Mac Jones can't beat them on Saturday. That's something else, too, that I saw on Twitter. And it's like, wait, what are we? Hold on a second.
And you know what? Speaking of, so this past weekend, and we're going to get into football in a second. This past weekend, the Mac Jones people finally got, people started recognizing that we weren't stupid in the offseason when we didn't want Cam Newton. These Cam Newton people, it wasn't just like, oh, no, I disagree with you. A lot of these people who were rooting for Cam Newton to be the starting quarterback, they were vicious about it. If you wanted Mac Jones, you were stupid. You were a moron. Like, it's unbelievable that you would want Cam. Like, Cam Newton didn't have the weapons, blah, blah, blah. Well, Cam Newton has DJ Moore in Carolina.
Christian McCaffrey until he got hurt. He has Robbie Anderson. Right? Like,
and he stinks. He got benched.
He's splitting with PJ, whatever his name is. Like,
yeah, PJ Walker.
Yeah, like, if you can't beat out PJ Walker, you certainly shouldn't have started over Mac Jones.
Cam Newton
and Matt Rule's talking about, like, oh yeah, we got only a couple more weeks and Sam should be back. So they're still waiting for Sam Darnold to be their starting quarterback. It's not like Cam's just beat him out and is keeping the job here.
Yeah, talk about a head coach that's having a tough time. Talk about a head coach who might be losing his job. If you want to talk about another guy, Urban Meyer.
Woof. I don't think he loses his job.
After what's been happening this past week? Do you know what's been happening this past week?
Yeah, but the owner even said, like, we stand by him. Like, whatever.
Yeah, but wasn't that after the restaurant situation?
Yeah, it was after he said it.
Yeah, now this past week he
said it. He said it recently. Like, he's like, I support, like, recently.
Well, that's dumb because allegedly he's having conversations, yelling at his coaches, calling them losers. Like, hey, what have you ever won? And if I'm one of those coaches, I'm like, hey, Urban, you dumbass, you've never won at this level.
Yeah,
you've only won in college.
He should go. He should have taken the Notre Dame job or tried to. He should have considered USC. Like, if he wants to keep coaching, he really should just go back to the.
He's not cut out for the NFL, especially when you go up to Vic Fangio. And shout out Vic for just putting this out there after when the Jaguars played the Broncos. Yep. Herman's like, man, this is like playing Alabama every week. Like, yeah, yeah. These are the worst team, even your team. These are the best players in college.
Yep.
Like the best.
Yeah.
People don't understand how many D1 athletes, like high level D1 athletes, do not make it to the pros. The guys who are all in the NFL. Obviously,
I don't care how bad
you past those people.
Yeah, the Detroit Lions have good talent on their roster. They suck in relation to the NFL, but like they beat out a lot of other people to be in the NFL.
Right.
So,
and they would beat Alabama. Like, never have that conversation with me.
Yeah, no.
The Detroit Lions would beat Alabama football. They would.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, Urban Meyer. I feel bad for Trevor Lawrence. Like, I don't want to have a situation where in like 10 years we have a conversation when we're like, hey, how good could Trevor Lawrence have been
if he didn't get drafted by Urban Meyer?
After like a bad start to his career, like we've seen this happen over and over and over again. Like, I still think maybe if Sam Darnold went to the right situation, he might have been fine, but he didn't. He got shit on in New York by the Jets, and now he's done. He stinks. I'm worried this is gonna happen with Trevor Lawrence.
Look at Joe Burrow. Like, Joe Burrow has a really good start to his career. Obviously got hurt, but like, he went to a good situation with weapons and a decent coach. And
Zach Taylor's a solid coach.
Cincy's thriving right there in the playoff hunt. If Trevor Lawrence goes to Cincy, he's fine, right? If Trevor Lawrence comes to the Patriots, right? I'm not saying it would happen, but like Trevor Lawrence with Belichick would have been phenomenal, and Josh McDaniels. So, but you put him on Urban Meyer in Jacksonville, and what are we doing? Like, it's rough.
And it's even Trevor Lawrence. I think it was Trevor Lawrence last week after James Robinson, very good running back, gets benched. Trevor Lawrence is like, yeah, we need him out there.
we need to play James Robinson more.
We need one of our best players on the field.
Yeah, the talent that's being mismanaged is there. Like, there's some talent in Jacksonville. It's being mismanaged. Maybe Matt Rule goes and coaches Jacksonville. Would Josh McDaniels take that job if it was open?
He shouldn't. He shouldn't.
I would. I mean, if he took like Josh McDaniels, really, I think is waiting for Belichick to retire at this point, especially now that he has Mac Jones to hang out with for a little bit here in a couple years. Like, if Josh McDaniels literally wins Super Bowls, turns down the Colts, stays after Brady, and is now in Josh McDaniels is developing Mac Jones, right? He's taking it, and then what if he wins a championship with Mac Jones and then takes over for the Patriots after Belichick retires? Would you be okay with Josh as your head coach?
Josh has won a lot of people over this year.
Yeah,
start of the year, not so much.
I still don't want to miss my head coach.
I know, but isn't it crazy how much the narrative's changed around him? Like, people, every single Patriots game, you go on Twitter, people are like, "Fuck Josh McDaniels, this guy stinks," blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden, everybody's like, hey, maybe Josh McDaniels is pretty good at his job.
I mean, I will say this: depending on the options, come Belichick's actual retirement, whatever the heck that happens, maybe he is the best option, right? Because he knows the system. If we still have Mac Jones at that point, maybe he is the best option. But if it was today, not sure.
Steve Belichick is licking his chops. Literally, he is getting ready to go.
He's waiting for it.
He is waiting. He's been calling the defensive plays again, I guess, on the low.
I know. It's just shows.
Defenses look pretty good.
Yeah, they're figuring it out. But Dad had to step in and figure it out. But now that we know what we're doing, they look good though. It was weird not seeing it. I hated the bye week. No fun.
I know, but you know what? I want to bet for once this weekend. And it was on. Listen. Sometimes you win, and hopefully this starts a hot streak.
That's because you bet on the GOAT. It's because you just went for Tom. It's because you went at Tom Brady this week.
Yeah, but it came all the way down to the last play in overtime.
Yeah, no, I know.
All right, Jared. It's the holiday season, and you don't know what to get as a gift or stocking stuffer. Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped. has the tools to guarantee you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. If my math is correct, that's almost 8 million balls. Get 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code CouchGuy20. Ho, 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 fellas, naughty or nice. 'Tis the season to perform. Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is the top of every man's wish list this year. Inside, you will find the Lawnmower Body Trimmer, the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body, and the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. Let's not forget their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Get the Performance Package now to receive their 2 free gifts, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. The dads can't stop talking about this. The teens secretly buy this, and the women will love you for it. Now, these are our picks for Manscaped Surefire Wind Stocking Stuffer. Number 1, the Manscaped 2-in-1 Shampoo and Conditioner just launched. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 2, the Manscaped Cologne Infused Body Wash. Number 3, the Shears 2.0 Luxury 4-piece Nail Kit. Amazing. Number 4, the Crop Mops Ball Wipes for your stanky balls. Number 5, Manscaped's Signature Cologne. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free, whatever that is. So you know their products are legit. Make sure you hurry to their site to ensure these wild gifts show up before the holiday season. And while you're at it, get 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using promo code CouchGuy20. Whether this is for your partner, dad, brother, friend, get them something that they will actually use, and it's almost sure to get a laugh. Get 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using code CouchGuy20. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. Manscaped.com. All right. You want to talk about the Patriots Colts first, or do you want to talk about the Bills falling apart?
Let's talk about the Bills because they played this weekend, and then we can just talk about the Colts game.
So the Bills, I think it's safe to say that we knew this was coming. The Bills lost to the Bucs. It did take till overtime. It did sweat out. What was the line? 3.5?
Yeah.
Maybe 3, whatever it was. It made people sweat
I mean, it didn't
out.
look good in the first half.
No, it didn't for the Bills. The Bucs really took a big lead there in the first half, but then the second half, the Bills came back, tied it up, went to overtime. Tom Brady walked it off, won me my bet with that final pass, which was incredible. But the Bills, who, if I remember right, according to Twitter, the Bills were supposed to run the AFC East for the next 10 years.
Patriots were dead, Nick.
The Patriots weren't going to figure this thing out. The Patriots
without Brady, they were
gone.
nothing. Without Brady, they were nothing.
Without Tom Brady, they were nothing.
True for a year.
True for 1 year. Which, you know what people need to realize that they just don't? Like, they don't give Bill Belichick and Tom Brady enough credit for the dynasty, because we've seen it with the Chiefs too. The Chiefs have fallen apart a little bit, but they flipped a switch this weekend. They look exactly what I did not want to see out of the Chiefs.
No, yeah. I'm happy you're not going to play them probably till the title game if you do, but like, wow.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
They won't win the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Bill Belichick has Patty Mahomes' number. But the Bills, people don't give the Patriots enough credit for what they did for 20 years, because I think we're seeing how hard it is to be consistently good every single year. Like the Bills on paper have a team that should at least be leading this division, or if not leading, tied or a game back. But now they're 2 games back. Were they 7? Are they 7-6?
They're 7-6. The Dolphins are 6-7. Like, they're right behind them.
The Dolphins are a game behind them. Like, people don't give the Patriots enough credit for what they did for 20 years. Like, it's tough to do this year after year after year.
You literally needed the greatest coach of all time and the greatest athlete pretty much of all time to do it.
Yes. Incredibly difficult. Now, let's talk about the Bills. I think the Bills are dead.
Dead though? Or just the year dead?
I think they could. They'll probably still make the playoffs, right? Wild card. But they don't scare me at all. I think the Patriots beat them in Gillette. I think their brains are scrambled.
I don't even know if that game was going to be close at Gillette, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think it's good. I think Bills and Sean McDermott said, I think the Patriots are in their entire defense has had.
Yep.
The fact that you have 2 running backs who are solid, like I think Devin Singletary and Zach Moss are 2 solid running backs. You have no run game, like literally not existing.
They didn't run the ball once the entire first half of that Bucs game,
which is the first time I think it happened in the Super Bowl era.
In the Super Bowl era, yeah.
They didn't run it one time in the first half.
Yeah, we got crap for throwing the ball 3 times with Mac Jones, and they didn't run the ball once in the entire first half. It's like, what are we doing? Josh Allen's not that good, people.
No, and they weren't making the Bucs defense guess. The Bucs defense is solid. And yeah, I know Vita Vea is a scary man up there. But you still have to at least make the Bucs think, okay, are they going to run the ball or are they going to throw the ball? The entire time they could just drop back and defend the pass.
And I will say this about the Bills, like, I think I'm over the hate on Josh Allen. Like, I think Josh Allen's a very good quarterback.
I do too. I think if he was in New England, it would be terrifying for the league.
Stop that. I mean, Mac Jones is terrifying, and I think Josh Allen's better than him right now. Josh Allen's not the reason for the slide here. Like, there have been a couple meh games from him, but like, the team on paper should be able to pick him up. The good team, Brady didn't have great games every single game for 20 years. There were games and there were Super Bowls where the defense won games. The special teams, the coaching choices.
The first 3.
The whole first part of the dynasty was all defensive Super Bowls. Brady literally was a game manager for 3 Super Bowls. That's why I believe that the Bills aren't going anywhere, because I think on paper they'll figure it out. Not this year. I think they're screwed this year because the Patriots are in there. But that's why I even look at the Patriots and think, okay, you can win with defense. So that's why it's working this year, because Mac Jones is managing the game. He can make his shots when he has to, and the rest of the team can perform. You're in a recipe to win a Super Bowl right now. And the Bills just aren't there. Sean McDermott wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's an aggressive coach, which has been great for Buffalo, and he's a great coach, and I'm not saying he's going to lose his job here, but the players are picking up after him. And this is where the Micah Hydes of the world are pissed off when a reporter asked him about getting ran on against the Patriots a million times, and then it happened again against the Bucs. Look how often playoff Lenny ran all over them. Like
I do a weekly DraftKings thing with my buddies from back home, and we all put money into a pot every single week. And this week, you want to tell you how little I respect the Bills' rush defense? I picked Lenny Fournette, and I won. I won the week. And I'm giving a ton of credit to him. Now, did I also pick Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, of course. I got him on my team. You got a budget, you got to manage, and I'm the king of that. I won that, a big part of that because of Leonard Fournette, because the Bills' rush defense is terrible.
It's soft. It's
Jonathan
so soft.
Taylor scored 5 touchdowns on them. Do you know how hard that is?
That's hard. That's really hard to do. Like, really hard to do. As a runner, it's impossible. That's why I think at Gillette, like, this isn't even a joke. Like, if it wasn't for the conditions, they probably would have done the same thing to them in Buffalo. Like, if it wasn't for the wind and the crap, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots just run the ball again at home. like,
I mean, they got to throw more than 3 times.
Well, yeah, no, but it'll be a normal game plan. But, like, would you be surprised if Damian Harris and Ramondre both have a touchdown or 2?
No, absolutely not. I'm in fantasy playoffs. I'm having a tough time deciding if I want to play Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson. I've got no idea which one I want to play. But yeah, the Bills are dead. Tom Brady, MVP, yes or no?
Yes.
See, I've seen a lot of conversations on ESPN. Basically, is it Aaron Rodgers or Micah Parsons? Micah Parsons, great for a defensive MVP. And then Aaron Rodgers, solid option for offensive MVP, but I think it's Tom Brady.
The league MVP is Tom Brady.
Yes.
No question. I don't know why people are questioning that.
Right. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's offensive. Offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year. But MVP of the league, it's
people
Tom
are talking
Brady.
about Micah Parsons for MVP.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. Which
like,
Micah Parsons has been great, but it's Tom Brady this year.
He can win defensive rookie of the year. If he wants to win defensive player of the year, fine. But most valuable player, it's Tom Brady.
And it's going to be the Patriots and the Bucs in the Super Bowl. It's
literally lining up for MVP to be Tom Brady, Coach of the Year to be Bill Belichick, and the Super Bowl was Bucs Patriots. And by off chance maybe Mac wins Rookie of the Year. He won't, but
I think he will.
How great with that?
Who else? Well,
Jamar.
I think Mac's in the lead.
You think so? I think Jamar Chase still got it.
Oh, James Harden enters COVID protocols. Okay, let's talk about
Oh.
this real quick before we talk about the Patriots.
You
Colts
got me
game
for like
coming
10
up this
more
weekend.
minutes. So
Yeah, I know.
Go for it.
Do you think we're gonna have a sports shutdown?
Yes, it's coming.
See,
The world's getting real. It's getting bad again, Nick. It's getting bad again.
I know it is. I just don't think they'll do it because of the money. I really don't think they're gonna do it.
It's gonna take a lot. I mean, I'm surprised it's taken this long for this many cases to pop up. What's scary is that it's coming towards the Super Bowl. Do they have this? Do they have the stones to move the Super Bowl? Probably not. So I don't know. I think it's coming, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they don't do it.
I don't think they're going to.
But I think a lot of pro leagues right now are dealing with the same thing. COVID's getting bad again. We have this other strain coming in, whatever it's called, and Omicron. That's right. He's an Optimus Prime best friend here.
So it's this one moves fast. This one cuts through. It spreads very easily, but I guess it's less. And I'm no doctor, okay? So maybe I'm wrong on this, but from what I understand, it moves quick. It gets through everybody, but it's not as strong.
Yeah, like if you get it, it's a lesser chance with or without the vaccine for you to have issues.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not going to give my opinion on this because I don't know what I'm talking about with this. I have not been paying attention to this at all.
The leagues have a problem. They all do.
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Patriots Colts. Big game this weekend. Two of the hottest teams in the league.
Both coming off a bye week, too.
Both coming off of a bye week, which is interesting. I think the Patriots win in that regard because the Patriots tend to play better off a bye week. You know, you give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to plan. But I think the biggest thing here in this game is that Bill Belichick, what's he always do best? Takes away your best player.
Jonathan Taylor.
Look at that. You got it. Jonathan Taylor. So if he's able to take away Jonathan Taylor and he tries to force the Colts to beat you with Carson Wentz, I like your chances, especially with the way the defensive backs are playing.
And that point exactly is why I'm so confused. Like the Colts are favorites.
I know, which by the way, toss 100 on it.
Already slammed it. But like, why are the Colts favorites? Is it really just because they're home? Like, is that little bit of a difference? Just it's a home game because you're putting the Patriots team, which just won in the worst elements possible in a dome this weekend off a bye week.
And Nick Fogle can't miss.
And Nick Fogle can't miss in a dome. So like, I look at and again, Vegas knows more crap than we do, but like
Vegas knows everything.
But I'm just really confused of how I look at this game and go, how are the Colts favorites?
I'm with you. I'm surprised, but you're right. Vegas does know everything. The fact that Vegas had the Browns as the favorites against the Ravens blew my mind. And I was like, there's no way. There's no chance. The
Patriots are now 2.5 point dogs.
2.5 point dogs. What's the money line?
Plus 120 right now, Patriots.
It went up?
It went the other way.
See, that scares me because people are betting the Patriots. So what does Vegas know?
I did it. I already did it. This is crazy. I don't know. This is Saturday night prime time in a dome. Like this should line up for the Patriots. It should line up for the Patriots.
Vegas, that scares me because I don't know the numbers. I don't know what the public's on. I don't know what the sharps are on. But I gotta assume that a lot of the public are on the Patriots. And the fact that they move the odds up, that tells me Vegas knows something. It's the same thing with the Ravens and the Browns this past week.
The line is 45.5.
The under might actually hit this game.
Yeah, I can see it. I look at this game and go, I don't know what Vegas is on, but you have two good running backs. The Patriots offensive line's figuring it out. They're getting Duggar back. Uche's back. Mac Jones gets to play his real football game. Nick Folk in a dome. Bill Belichick off a 2-week bye.
Right. Like, but then why is Vegas trying to push us to bet the Patriots? They're trying.
They're trying. Again, I think part of it might be they're just trying. Like, I just think they want some money in case the Patriots do lose this game. Like,
but that's my point. Like, if Vegas always has an edge, and I don't know what the edge is. I don't know if they have supercomputers, but the fact that I gotta assume that again, most people are betting the Patriots money line straight up to win this game, and all of a sudden you win more money now than you did a couple days ago if you bet the Patriots. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I hate that as a Patriots fan because I have a feeling that the Colts are somehow going to win this game because of that.
No, stop. Vegas does not influence football. I mean, you might. Who knows? But look, this game is lining up. I genuinely think the Patriots win out. Like I'm still on that. I told you 2 weeks ago, if they beat the Bills on the road on Monday night, they don't lose again. And they did that. I look at the rest of the way. I mean, maybe they lose to the Dolphins because they tend to do that every year.
Playing in Miami is tougher though.
But they're not. Isn't this game home? Oh, this is the Dolphins game. That's right. They started home. At least it's a game in December. Actually January, technically, right?
I think, yeah, it's the last week, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at that schedule and go, they don't lose again. They're not going to lose to the Bills, right?
I don't think.
And that you play to home against, and you're going to play the Jaguars. Urban Meyer's coming to town. You're not going to lose to them.
I think you have the AFC East locked up. I do.
You win this weekend, I think you have it locked up. If you win this weekend, you officially have it locked up this weekend. If you win and the Bills and Dolphins both lose.
Now, Colts player there was a quote from a Colts player. I forget the name, but he basically said that the Colts are aiming to take away the run game. So basically what we're saying the Patriots should do, they want to take away the run game to make Mac Jones beat the Colts because the Colts have a solid defense.
Mm-hmm.
If they do successfully take away the run game, how do you feel about the Patriots' chances of winning this game? Because the Patriots' run game does, a lot of people don't pay attention to this part. Part of the reason why Mac Jones has been so successful this year is because the run game's so good, because you keep defenses guessing because your run game is so good. The defenses really have to lock down and make sure Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson don't break out.
See, I think they'll be okay because I think Bill Belichick is not a coach that will just say, okay, abandon the run after a few bad run. You know what I mean? Like they're going to try to run the whole game no matter what, and they'll figure it out and they'll move guys around. And maybe that's Jonnu Smith coming out of the backfield, whatever. Like I think they have enough options to figure it out. And if they do happen to stop the run, I have more faith in Mac Jones to win this game than I do Carson Wentz to win this game, because you generally have to look at what you're talking about. Belichick, you assume, is going to take away Jonathan Taylor in most situations. He shouldn't have a huge game. If they successfully take away Damian Harris or Ramondre or both, you're just comparing Mac Jones against the Colts defense to Carson Wentz against the Patriots defense. And the Patriots defense is the top scoring defense in the league still, right? And
I don't know.
If not, they're close. Though I take Mac Jones versus the Colts defense over Carson Wentz against the Patriots defense.
All right, so give me your score prediction. We'll wrap it up here. Give me your score prediction.
I think the Patriots win. Okay. I think it's gonna be like 17-13 Patriots.
I don't like this. I don't like it. There's a lot of factors that are going into this.
He's picking the Colts, folks.
Vegas is scaring the hell out of me by moving the line up to 120. Carson Wentz is a lunatic. Carson Wentz doesn't go down when he should go down. Carson Wentz, I think, is a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. I think he's a good quarterback. The Colts offense is moving. Jonathan Taylor's a freak. And you know who the Colts head coach is? The man who put up numbers on you in the Super Bowl with Nick Foles as your quarterback.
This is true.
Frank Reich. I don't like it.
You have a much better defense now, though.
Yeah, you do, but I do not like how this is shaping up for the Patriots. I'm picking the Colts.
Yeah, of course you are.
I think the Patriots finish the season 3-1. I'm picking the Colts. I'm going 31-28. 31-28 Colts. I think it's going to be a tight game.
Shootout.
Yeah, this Colts are scaring me right now. They are.
No, the Colts aren't scaring you. Vegas is scaring you.
Vegas is very heavily influenced this decision.
Vegas has you by the cojones saying you know what to do, Nicholas.
And I want to call this an upset, but according to Vegas, it's not an upset.
No. Vegas has got you, man. Vegas has got you.
I'm picking the Colts 31-28. Frank Reich, Carson Wentz, Jonathan Taylor, that offensive line, Quentin Nelson. The Colts defense, rock solid. They scare me. They're hot. I think the Colts might surprise us this weekend. I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots end up with 5 losses. This could be the loss. And I'm not gonna cry like it's the end of the season if they do.
No, it's gonna be the Dolphins. Like if they lose another game, it's gonna be the Dolphins.
I'm scared for this weekend.
Vegas,
Significantly.
Vegas, get out of his head.
Am I going to hammer?
Go away.
Am I going to probably hammer the Patriots?
Yeah, you are.
Against my better judgment? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you are.
But right now, I'm picking the Colts. And that's my prediction going into this game. Was it -2.5?
Yep.
Oh, man, I don't even have the Patriots covering. I hate numbers inside 3. I hate those.
It's awful.
Hate those lines.
Yep.
It's so tough to pick the underdog when it's under 3 points because I'm always like, I do the math in my head. I'm always like, how are they going to lose by a point? Shouldn't why is that not tied? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
20, 28, 27.
No, I know what 1 point difference is numerically.
Sure.
Yes. All right. Couch Guys Sports Podcast, episode 236 in the books. Nick Quaglia, Jared Scali. Guys, go follow the Twitter account, which is now being run by somebody else who's doing a great job so far. Nick Cherico used to blog for the website. Now he's running our Twitter account. Go follow it. Go send him some support at CGS. At CGS Boston Pod. Go follow it on Twitter. And also look out for an announcement for a potential YouTube announcement with this show in particular. And by the way, next week, I'm going to sound much better. I'm getting rid of this microphone, which cannot handle my voice. And I'm getting the same microphone Jared has. So this show is going to sound crisp again. Because RIP to my Yeti mic.
Crisp. This thing's nice.
You sound great. Go follow Couch Guys Sports on Twitter. Check out every blog on the website, couchguysports.com, and all of the other podcasts on the network as well. We got wrestling, we got soccer, we have the Tuck Rules Takes, the New England Patriot podcast on the network. So, guys, and then into the triangle, Jared Scali and Al Nahigian on the Boston Red Sox podcast. All right, Couch Guys Sports Podcast, episode 236 in the books. Guys, we're going to talk to you next week. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.